Okay, Minal. So here we will be starting with complex integration. So here this is a summary lecture 2. Already in summary lecture 1, I'll just have a quick recap what we have done in summary lecture 1. So we have introduced what do we mean by complex integration, right? So for example, if you have a function of real variable, say f of x, and you are asking to integrate the function f of x dx from a to b, then you know the physical meaning. It means that you have this function, this is a curve, and then you have, if we assume that the function is continuous, a to b, then what you do, you just divide your domain a to b into n number of parts, and then for each part you just have approximately this area, and then you add, and then you take the number of parts going to infinity. So ultimately you will get this area under the curve. That is what is the meaning of this integral, right? Now suppose you have a complex valued function of a complex variable, in the sense that you have f of z, where z is your complex number, x plus iota y, and this again is a complex number, so it is of the form u plus iota v, where u is a real valued function of x and y, and v is a real valued function of x and y. Okay, and this is your domain. Now your domain plane is xy plane or complex plane. Now suppose you have any curve c here in this plane, then we define f of z dz c along c. So this is called complex integral of the function f of z along the curve c. Starting point of the curve is say a, and the end point of the curve is say b, right? A and b, they of course are the complex numbers. Now what do we mean by this integral here is that, similar to what we do in a function of one variable or real valued function, what we will do, we will divide the curve c into n parts. They may not be equal, so you have the starting point, you call it as a, this is z naught, you call the next point as z1, next point as z2, next point as z3, and so on. The last point you call as b. Now what you do, you take in this interval, small interval, you take points, say zeta 1, zeta 2, zeta 3, and so on, zeta n. So now you take f of zeta 1 into this length, which is z1 minus z0, plus you take f of zeta 2 into z2 minus z1, and so on, f of zeta n into zn minus 1. So this is not exactly the length z1 minus z0, because z1 minus z0 will be a complex number, right? Now this is nothing but f of zeta I. We call it as delta zi. Okay, this is delta z1, this is delta z2, and so on. So this is f of zeta I delta zi, I from 1 to n. So you call this sum as Sn, right? So what we are doing here, we are just playing along the curve. So we are taking care of curve also, and on that curve you are taking the value of the function also, right? So here if you take n going to infinity, and if you put this condition that f is continuous, then you will get this number n going to infinity. This number will be independent of how you have made the partition. If f is continuous, right? In that case, whatever this number is, you call that number as integral of fz along the curve c. So this is the meaning of. Physically, it is not denoting anything as such. For example, in case of real functions, we have this integral as the area under the curve. Here we don't have such physical significance. Very simply is not available, but obviously in different situations we can get physical meaning of the integrals also. But in general, we don't have any description. Okay, so is that in clear, Minan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the meaning of complex integral. So it has some properties which I have discussed in the last video. So I'll go to Cauchy's theorem, which is most important for integrals when we are dealing with complex functions, right? So for going to Cauchy's theorem, we need some definitions. So I'll first define those things. So our aim is, from here we are going to Cauchy's theorem. And before that, I would like to make a point, because I put this condition of continuity here, okay, for the integral to be defined. So if I put a condition of analytic, if I have a function which is analytic, if a function is analytic in a region, then obviously that function is also continuous in this region. Therefore, we can talk about the integral of that function. Because for Cauchy's theorem, we'll put this condition that the function is analytic in a region. And therefore, for any curve in that region, we will talk about the integral of that function, right? Okay, so our destination is this Cauchy's theorem. We'll be starting with some definitions which are required. So the first definition is simply and multiply connected regions. Simply and multiply connected regions right? So a simply connected region is the one, suppose you have a region in xy plane or complex plane. If inside a region you have a simply if you have a simple closed curve, if you have any simple closed curve, simple means the curve is not intersecting with itself. For example, this curve is a simple curve and this curve is not a simple curve. Okay, so this is a simple curve and this is not a simple curve. Is that thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And close means that your initial point and the end point, they are the same. So
Okay.
the definition of simply connected region means you have, if you take any simply closed curve, you can shrink it to, you can shrink this curve to a point without leaving the region. Okay, if for a region you can do this thing, that for any simple closed curve you can just shrink that curve to a point without leaving the region, then that region is called simply connected region. Is that thing clear? So I'll
Okay.
just draw what I'm saying. Suppose this is the region. In this region, if I take any simple closed curve, in the sense this is something simple closed curve, then without leaving the region, I can just make this curve small and small and small. I can shrink it to a point. Is that okay? And this
Yes,
this
ma'am.
this will be true for any simple closed curve. But if I take a region like this, say this is your region, this is the whole, right? So the region is this one. So the highlighted everywhere, this is your region, right? And if here I take any simple closed curve, suppose I take this simple closed curve, can I shrink it to 0? Yes, I can shrink this simple closed curve to a unit, a point. But if I take this simple closed curve, if I am trying to shrink it, then I'll leave the region. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So it means that this is not a simply connected region. So this is a multiply connected region. Right? So basically we can just make this distinction that a region without holes is a simply connected region and a region with holes is a multiply connected region. Okay? So for example, if you have a region like this where these are the holes, so we are talking about this interior part here. So this is a multiply connected region, right? But if you have a region without holes, that is your simply connected region. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So next is something called convention regarding the traversal of a closed path. So we actually, suppose you are moving along a curve, because we are defining like this C, F, Z, D, Z, right? So you will move along the curve. So when we say that we are moving in a positive direction, when we will say that we are moving in a negative direction, so we have a convention. What is the convention? Suppose you have a closed, we are talking about closed curve now. If you have a closed curve, if you have a closed curve, right? And if I want to see that what direction should be my positive direction, this is a universal convention. The convention is if a person is walking on the curve, right? and the interior is to left of that person, then that direction is your positive direction. Do you get it? So if suppose you have a circle, you must be knowing that in circle we say that the anti-clockwise direction is a positive direction. So why? Because the convention is, if you're walking on the circle, that is 90-degree, okay, to the plane. So if you're walking on the surface and you're moving along your curve, the region which is enclosed by the curve should be to the left. So this is your positive direction. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for example, if you have a curve like this, a region like this, suppose this is your region, this part, okay, so hole is there. So can you tell me what is the boundary of this region? How do you define the boundary of this region? Positive boundary, in the sense, you see, if a person is here, because we want the region contained inside the curve should be to the left, so it has to, the person has to move in this direction. And if he is moving here, he has to move in this direction, so that the region contained inside the curve should be to the left. So this here C1 and this here C2. C1 plus C2 is the boundary of this region. Is this thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay, fine. So this is positive sense. This is in the positive sense, and the otherwise is your negative sense. This is just a convention. We can change also. We can change this if we want. Then, but we have to make sure that we are doing it for every curve possible. Okay. So the idea is that your region should be towards your left for the direction to be positive. Okay. So the next thing is, I'll state the Cauchy's theorem.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Can we perform integration of open curve in complex numbers?
Yes, we can. This is okay. I'll just give you one example. Suppose you have okay. Before that, you can perform integration along any curve. Okay. Suppose I
Okay.
have this question. Let me just write down. Evaluate integral along C z bar dz from z is equal to 0 to z is equal to 4 plus 2 iota, where C is the curve defined as z is equal to t square plus iota t, right? So is the statement clear? So you have a curve from 0. This is your z is equal to 0, 0, z is equal to 0. And then you have a point 4, 2 here, which is your z is equal to 4 plus 2 iota. And your curve is x is equal to t square, y is equal to t, right? So the curve is actually a parabola. Did you get it? So you have to integrate this function from here to here. So for that, what you will do, this is simple. Your function is x plus iota y, right? And along the curve, what is x? X is t square. What is y? This is t. So the function is x minus iota y, because you have to take the conjugate. So this is t square minus iota t. dz will be from here. Z is this. So dz will be 2t plus iota dt. Is that thing clear? From here, you will get dz as 2t plus iota dt. Okay?
Okay.
And this is a parametric form of the curve. So at the initial point, what is t? T is 0. Because if t is 0, you will get x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. At this end point, what is t? T is your 2. Because if t is 2, x is 4 and y is 2. So your integral will be from 0 to 2. Got it?
Okay.
So you can just use your normal integration rules. So this is 10 minus 8 iota by 3. So you can, of course, integrate if when you have open points, like curves are not closed. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
And we will see that if the function is analytic, then the integral is actually independent of path. You integrate along this path or this path, you will get the same result. We'll come to that. Okay? That is a
Okay.
consequence of Cauchy's theorem. Okay. So now I'm going to state Cauchy's theorem. Sometimes it is also called Cauchy-Gosset theorem because of the contribution of this SAT. This was another mathematician who contributed in the proof. So that is why this is also called Cauchy-Gosset theorem. So because these are the summary videos, so I'll not prove this theorem, but I'll just state it. So what is the statement? Suppose Fz is analytic in a region R, and on its boundary C. So what is the situation? You have a region R and its boundary is C. This is your region R. Okay. Then along, okay, because we are, let me write it. Then integral Fz dz along C is 0. Is that thing clear? So we are saying that if a function is analytic on and inside of a closed curve C, then the integral along C is 0. Okay. And this is true for the region here can be simply connected as well as multiply connected. So this result is true for both the regions. Okay. And then we have a converse. For Cauchy's theorem, we have the converse also. Converse is only for simply connected region. So converse says, that is called Morera's theorem. Converse, we call it as Morera's theorem. We will be doing problems based on these, but we are not proving it. For proof, we can go to detailed videos. Okay. So Morera's theorem is, let Fz be continuous in a simply connected region R. Simply connected means it should not have holes. Region R, and let integral Fz dz along C is 0 around every simple closed curve C in R. Simple closed curve C in R, then Fz is analytic. Okay, can you see how this is the converse? So Cauchy's theorem says if Fz is analytic, then the integral along C is 0. Morera's theorem says if integral along every simple closed curve is 0, and obviously Fz is continuous because otherwise integral may not be defined. So this condition you put, the continuity condition you put first, and then if the integral along every closed simple curve is 0, then you can conclude that Fz is analytic. Okay. Minal, clear hai?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first of all, with Cauchy's theorem, I'll take 1-2 problems which are very simple, and then we will go for the consequences of Cauchy's theorem. So first simple problem is, what is this integral dz along C, where this is just a notation. This notation means we are saying that the curve is closed, where C is any simple closed curve. Minal, can you tell me what will be this? Just apply Cauchy's theorem. So you see your function here is 1, which is analytic. Yes, right? Analytic is clear to you that a function which is differentiable, we say that, okay, let me write down the definition of analytic. Fz is analytic at a point A. Okay, this is your point A. If it is differentiable at A plus it is differentiable in a neighborhood of A. Whatever small, however small that neighborhood can be. So analyticity is more than differentiability. So we are saying Fz has to be, if you are saying that it is analytic at a point z is equal to a, it means that it is differentiable at that point, plus in a neighborhood, you can find out a small neighborhood of z is equal to a in which your function is differentiable. Then you say that fz is analytic at a. Is that thing clear, Minal?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, because your function is 1, which is a nice function, nice polynomial of order degree 0, so this is
Yes.
differentiable everywhere. So this is in fact entire function. This is
Yes,
differentiable everywhere means this is analytic everywhere. So we call it as an entire function. So because this is an analytic function everywhere, so we don't have to worry about any point where this is not analytic. So if you take any curve close, then by Cauchy's theorem, this integral has to be 0.
0.
Is that thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can actually verify this thing also. For example, you take if you want to verify it, can you think of how you can do this? If we take c is equal to, say, simple closed curve is, the simplest one is a circle, say mod z is equal to 1. So can you try to compute this integral along mod z is equal to 1? If we do this thing, that this is the integral we are computing, dz. Now mod z is equal to 1 means z is equal to 1 into e raised to power iota theta, where theta is from 0 to 2 pi. Clear?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
thing clear, Minal?
Yes, ma'am.
Mod z is 1 means z is e raised to power iota theta. Okay? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here how you we know that any function can be written, any complex number can be written as mod z e raised to power iota theta. This is a polar form of that number. Any number
Yes,
can be
ma'am.
written like this. If you are on a circle whose radius is 1, so every point will be e raised to power iota theta. Theta will be from 0 to 2 pi. 0 here and 2 pi here again. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
dz will be your e raised to power iota theta, iota d theta, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So your integral becomes theta from 0 to 2 pi 1 dz is e raised to iota theta, iota d theta. So this is iota e raised to iota theta upon iota 0 to 2 pi. So this is e raised to power iota 2 pi minus e raised to iota 0. So this is 1, this is 1. So this is 0. You are testing along only one curve. We are claiming that along every curve, this integral is 0. This is just a verification. So you can straight away from Cauchy's theorem says that you can say that this integral is 0. So your answer is 0. Clear?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let us do one or two more problems based on Cauchy's theorem. So you have C is any closed curve. Okay, Z dz. C is any closed curve, simple closed curve. What should be the integral? 0 again, because f of z
0.
is an analytic everywhere.
Analytic function.
Okay, the moment you see the analytic function and your curve is closed, you can simply write the integral equal to 0. Clear?
0.
Yeah. So next, z minus z naught dz, where again C is any simple closed curve. Simple closed curve. Again, this function, if you look at this function here, this is nice function. This is analytic everywhere. No problem, because this is just a polynomial of degree 1. So this is analytic everywhere. So you can think of like real functions. Differentiability you check, right? You have x minus x naught. So that function is differentiable everywhere. Similarly, this function is differentiable everywhere. So polynomials in real as well as in complex, if you are talking about polynomials which are real valued functions or polynomial which are complex valued function, their behavior is same. Okay, so analytic everywhere. Therefore, by Cauchy's theorem, this is 0. Okay, Minal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let us try this one. 1 upon z minus a. Okay, for this we need some more concepts. We'll go to it later. So now I have one or two consequences of Cauchy's theorem which are important. So the first consequence is that suppose your fz is, okay, let me write down the, let a and z be 2 points in R. I'm talking about if fz is analytic in a simply connected region R, in a simply connected region R, and A and Z are any 2 points in R, then A to Z, Fz, dz is independent of path. Is independent of path. Okay, so let us see what we are saying. We are saying, suppose you have a region R. Inside this region, your function is analytic, and you have a point A here and a point Z here, or you can take A and B also. And I want to compute this integral A to Z, but obviously it has no meaning unless until I define that along which path I will move, because there are infinite number of paths along which I can move from A to Z. But this theorem says, this result says that this is actually independent of path. You can move along whatever path you want, you will always get the same result. Is the statement clear,
Okay.
Minal?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is very simple to prove. What we are going to do, suppose you move along a path, call it C1, okay? This is your path, and you move along another path, call it C2. Clear? Let
Yes,
C1 and
ma'am.
C2 are any random 2 different paths along which you are moving from A to Z. Now, with this C1 and C2, I will just make C2 minus C2. This is minus C2, right? So I can form a curve C1 minus C2. This is a closed curve. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Tau is a closed curve like this here, and because I have taken minus C2 means you will move like this. So you have a closed curve, and your Fz is analytic on and inside tau. Is that okay? Because Fz is analytic everywhere in R. So it means that on and inside R, your function is analytic. Therefore, integral along tau Fz dz is 0 by Cauchy's theorem. Clear, Minal?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So you can, this is C1 minus C2 Fz dz is equal to 0. I can further, these are the properties. Actually, I have discussed in the first video. So you can further write it as C1 Fz dz plus minus C2 Fz dz is equal to 0. So you can just break. We can intuitively also we can see, if you have an integral from here to here, this is C1, then C1 to C2. So you can break along C1 plus along C2, right?
Okay.
Okay. So that is why that this is equivalent to saying we write A to B integral is equal to A to C plus C to B. We do this for real integrals, right? So this is the same
Yes, ma'am.
analogous condition. Now, this here will be, this is minus C2, the integral will be minus C2 Fz dz. Okay. So integral along negative of the curve will be equal to negative of integral along the curve, right? If you're going like this and like this, then obviously a negative sign will come, right? So this is equal to 0. C1 Fz dz. So you get C1 along the integral along C1 is equal to integral along C2. Fine. So this says that your integral is independent of path. This is very helpful. Independent of path. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now suppose you have this problem. Question is, let your question is, integrate this say z bar dz along C, where C is a curve defined by x is equal to t square plus 7t plus 5, y is equal to, or we can make it more difficult. Suppose C is defined by z is equal to, okay, I just want to write the implicit form. So C is say defined by x is power 5 plus sine y, x plus log of e raised to power xy equal to 0. So this is the curve given to you. So this is the equation which is satisfying which will specify what curve you are moving along, right? Starting from say a comma 0 to b comma 0. So this is a problem which looks a very difficult problem if you just look at this problem. But if you use Cauchy's theorem, okay, so for analyticity, I'm removing this z bar. So suppose you have z only, right? So that we can easily see that the function is analytic. Now, can you think of this thing which I have told you, that the integral will be independent of path? So can you think of that property, how you can use this to compute this integral? So here what we are saying that you have to go from a comma 0 to b comma 0, right? And you have to move along a curve which is like this.
Yes, ma'am.
So the above result says that it is irrespective, like you will get the same integral if you move along any curve from a to b. So I can choose the simplest curve.
Linear
This
curve.
one is the simplest curve, so I will choose the simplest curve which is x-axis. Therefore what is the equation I will choose z is equal to x plus iota 0, where I have to move x is equal to a to x is equal to b. So my integral will be a to b. In place of z I will write x plus iota 0, and in place of dz I will have dx. So this is x square by 2 a to b. So that is b square minus a square by 2. So this is your answer. Okay?
Okay.
Do you get it? So whenever you are given an analytic function and a tough curve along which you have to integrate, then you can always replace that tough curve with the simplest curve, because we already have proved that the integral will be independent of paths. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you want should we stop here, or we should discuss? I think we can stop it here, right?
Okay.
So in the next video, we will discuss one more consequence of Cauchy's theorem, and that consequence is mostly used in the problems which are there in the UGC exam or CSIR net exam also. Okay? Any doubts, Minal? You can discuss.
No, ma'am, it's fine.
Fine. Okay. Then I'll stop here.